Another week of Supercross. It is in the books. Round 10 at Daytona.
Come and gone.
Come and gone.
Some won, some lost.
Clearly, more losers than winners.
Getting more serious
I
every
said I'd do
week.
the unibrow if I
you
lost.
Stuck to it.
Stuck
Respect.
to it.
So.
Now, we are going to round 11 in Indianapolis, but before we get there, I'm excited to talk about the race recap because big shakeup in the championship.
Yeah, a lot to talk about.
All right, so first up, our race recap and then our fantasy stats. So for those of you that watched Daytona, you already know, but if you didn't, some big headlines. Tomac, 5 out of 7 races he has now won.
Well, you take out Arlington and
What, 1-1-1, 2-1-1 or something crazy like that?
Yeah,
The guy's on a roll.
he's on a hot streak for sure.
I took a gamble last week with Baggett in first. He still had a good race, but clearly I paid the price for that. However, big shakeup in the points because Dungey, who got knocked or had a really horrible start,
Might have saved his season.
yeah, charged all the way back to 4th, but that shrunk the gap by 7 points.
Yeah, that's big.
Dude, it's coming down to the wire.
Yep.
So we had Tomac for first, Jeremy Martin,
Out of nowhere.
out of nowhere, 18th gate
I mean,
pick,
we know he's
pulls
good.
the whole shot.
We know he's good, but
Well, he
didn't
could've
expect
just-
to be that good. So
All I know is J-Mart is looking a lot better to ride a 450 than he was earlier.
that bike is fast. It might be magic. Just put somebody on it and see what happens.
So Tomac, J. Martin, Anderson, then Dungey, and in 5th place we had Cole Seeley. 3-point Seeley kind of came back for a week.
Coming back in, Millsaps takes the wild card crown back with his 3rd wild card of the year.
The
So.
champ.
Holding
All right,
it
dude.
down.
Well, Captain Crunch, what do we get for stats this week?
Oh, the crunching has been done, and the average score was 31, so about the average of the whole season. No perfect scores. 6% got the wild card, which was down from other weeks, and only 141 people had the top 5 in their top 5. A lot of people probably scared to put Martin in there, even qualifying fast.
141 sounds like a lot, but that's 0.23%.
It's astronomical, yeah. So, and only 177 people picked Jeremy Martin in 2nd. So if you did, you're watching the qualifying, you got something figured out. So
Right on. All right, so you guys have heard the numbers. Now,
a couple injuries.
Yeah, a couple injuries we got to talk about before we get into it. So Pike is still out. Webb is saying he's going to return for Detroit. That's the last I've heard. Kennard, don't really know what's going on. Albertson had a bad wreck.
Yeah, hopefully he's getting better.
Hopefully, shout out to him. Hopefully he's doing all right. Roxon, obviously, and then I had Muskin's Pride.
It's, minor injury.
A minor injury.
Slight
a little
bruising
boo-boo.
on that. So hopefully,
Muskin's Pride.
hopefully it's better this week.
We'll see. I don't know. Well, next up, we're going to talk about our upcoming race in Indianapolis, round 11, with our track trends. So we got a little bit of history with Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, a brickyard race city. So going in there, there's some cool facts, some history. It's been part of the series for 25 years over 2 stadiums. And the cool thing is it's one of the most popular events. It's had the highest average attendance of any race at 54,000 per event. So it's going to be a packed house.
Nice. This is the next one I like.
Yeah, I mean, we pulled all the history from there, and the last 7 winners in Indy have been named Ryan.
Saving Ryan Dungey.
Might be saving Ryan's season. I mean, he's got strong history there. So
He's won there 3 years in a row. Keep that in mind, folks. 3 years in a row.
that's something to be said. So,
All right.
and he's looking for his 4th win in a row, which would tie him in Indy with RC and Villapoto. So some cool stats there.
Now, a couple things that I did notice when looking at the track map is one, really short start straight this week. We've talked about that before.
Yep. It helps certain riders.
It helps certain riders. Others it can definitely hinder. So Dungey is one to look for. Muskin's just all over the place. I don't know what to do with that guy.
He's a qualifying guy.
But what's interesting is before it scared me a little bit with Tomac with those short start straights, but Tomac now has a better average start than Dungey. Number 1 for start.
Never would have thought that would happen. So.
Nope. I mean, granted, Dungey had a horrible start because Muskin ran over his gate. But
just averages.
I feel confident now that you can't, when you're choosing where to put Tomac, you can't
knock him for his starts.
Yeah, you can't knock him for starts anymore. He's doing too good. All right, so no sand, dude.
No sand finally. So
Thank you.
we'll see what happens there.
Sand
It'll be
sections can be
sandy.
cool, and sometimes I was like, man, why'd they do that?
Yeah.
All right, well, next up, we are going to talk about Tomac and Dungey and some other riders because, like we said before, it is coming down to the wire. So next up is our points battle. Now, with the points battle, Tomac and Dungey all day.
It's clear. We look at the picks. We know. Everybody knows they're in first 2 spots. That's where they're picking.
So we don't need you guys don't need us to tell you who's going to be first or second most likely. You guys have proven that you know who to pick.
We want you to tell us
the question is,
Who you're picking and why.
Yeah. Who are you picking to win and why? And also, who do you think is going to win the championship? Me personally, I see Tomac doing it, dude.
Does he beat Dungey in every race the rest of the season?
Well,
what do you see here? Dungey has a
Dude,
bad round? What is it going to take?
It's not out of the I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that Tomac could win out the rest of the season. However, Dungey's going to be there. Is it probable? No.
Another start like that, and we might have
But
an
all
issue,
the pressure is on Dungey right now. Tomac's just got nothing to lose. He's hanging out there. Dungey's the one scared. What do you think?
I'm the opposite. I think
What?
he's got a 17-point lead. He's the Dunge. He's got the best average finish this year
He's
by
only
over
won
2
twice
spots.
this year.
And look at the seasons he's won the championships too. He's
Dude.
always there. He hasn't finished worse than 4th all year.
We're going to make a bet about this later on.
And he's going for that 4th in a row. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So
That is.
nothing against Tomac. I more think just you can't win every race. Something weird could happen. Who knows? So
Can't bank on that weird stuff, dude. Like
this race,
unibrow. Can't bank on that.
this race, I'm gonna probably put Dungey higher than Tomac.
Really?
This race.
I think you're local. All right, well,
catch me next week. And we'll
you
see.
guys have noticed, if you haven't already, that every week you got to take some risks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you do. But those come from weekly spoilers. Just like Jeremy Martin getting second last week. If you're in a group, if you need to make up points, you've got to take some wild gambles. That could pay off huge. So that's what we're going to talk about next, our weekly spoilers. Riders that might break the top 5 you might not know about. It is happening. The weekly spoilers are doing what they said they would do. Jumping in.
Mixing it up.
Mixing it up. Now, for this week, a little bit different. Christian, give me 2 riders. The first one that has not made the top 5 yet this year that you think is going to crack it, and also one rider who has done it once already, but you think can make it back up there by the end of the year. Go.
Okay. One rider who hasn't that comes to mind is Justin Bam Bam Barsha himself.
Okay.
I mean, he's been fired up. He's been slamming people around. He's back to almost to old Bam Bam, is it? I mean, we want to see him up there doing that. If he's up in the top 5, there's going to be noise. So
And his fitness is better, too.
he's getting faster every week. I mean,
Won a heat race last weekend, and he came from almost last in the pack to inside the top 10.
you don't want to pass that man. That's the bottom line. So
Okay.
I like him. Another rider that hasn't been up there for a while, Dean Wilson. I don't know what's going on. I hope everything's all right. We haven't really seen him up there in the top 5 since when he cracked the top 5 on the West Coast. So
His second race with Husky, and then
it's getting a bit worrisome for him, but we know he can do it. He's done it before, so I'm watching him. Who do you got?
My rider who has not made it yet, but I feel will, Mr. Justin Brayton.
Veteran.
Got 6th. He's so close. We need to be celebrating a top 5 finish
we need
very
a reason
soon.
to be celebrating that.
And my other rider who has cracked the top 5 but hasn't done it since, Mr. Tickle Me Elmo himself, Brock Tickle.
I mean, what is he doing?
I don't know. How do you go from 3rd to like nowhere close?
You get a good start, so that's got to be his MO.
And he's had one night of good starts.
Get a good gate pick, get a good start.
Yeah. Now, if you guys are wondering what's a good way to check, for your spoilers, I say look at qualifying time.
Always watch qualifying.
If a rider who typically isn't riding around there he's good in qualifying, and maybe he's feeling it that day, and he's got some confidence going to the night show. So watch the qualifying times. That could be your spoiler. Or that's going to be really the biggest tip you're going to need for getting spoilers.
Sometimes their setups just click that one round, and you got to be able to capitalize on that.
All right. So we talked about spoilers. Now next up, going into Indianapolis, Wildcard is going to be 9th. So
Interesting spot.
interesting. So we're going to talk about that next. Help you guys out there.
The Big Tuna, Wildcard Watch for Indianapolis, 9th place. Big range of riders in there. Just another wildcard stat. The person qualifying 1.7 per spots behind the wildcard has been taking it. So watch the person 1 or 2 spots behind.
Okay.
And thinking of that, I have a few riders I'm watching for. Davey Millsaps, it kind of pains me to put him there, but he's hit the wildcard 3 times this season.
He's the champ.
He's the wildcard champ right now.
Okay.
When the wildcard was 9th place last time, he took it. So just watch him. He finishes on average 2 spots better than where he qualifies on the East.
Okay.
Another one, Josh Grant. His average finish on the East has been 10.5. His start's 10.75. So he's starting there. He's right around there. Someone goes down, he gets a boost. He could get up to 9th. His last 3 finishes have been 9th, 11th, and 8th. So he's almost due for it.
Okay.
So who else you got?
Well, my pick this week is going to be Mr. Justin Brayton. Now, I know I said I had him as a spoiler, and I was really torn. I've got reasons to put him possibly in that top 5, but it seemed more logical to do 9th this week, and here's why. His average finish on the East has been 9th. He's gone 8, 10, 9 his last 3 races, and he's finishing 7 spots better than where he qualifies.
He's the opposite of qualifying. Almost don't worry about him unless he crashes.
Yeah. And he hasn't been in LCQ all year, so he's getting decent gate picks.
Less risky pick, less risky than Justin Bogle last week.
Who didn't make the main event.
Too soon, sensitive subject for me, but that's something you got to watch. You can pick those guys that are in the main every week.
But I think like Justin Brayton, statistically, I'm taking your side on this, makes sense for this week.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's it. Those are Wildcard Watches. You guys have heard it. Hopefully that'll help you out. Now you know what time it is.
Time to lock them in.
All right, before we lock them in, I need some redemption. 2 weeks in a row. Last week I was half-beard. Now I'm Mr. Unibrow.
Well, what's fantasy sports without some light humiliation and friendly bets?
It makes me nervous watching the main events, I'll tell you that.
That adds a new level. So
we're going to do it again?
I don't like pushing my luck, but for the sake,
we're doing it.
Let's do it.
Now, but the punishment for this week for the loser is coming from you viewers out there. We want you guys to comment below. Give us some suggestions of what the punishment for the loser should be, but we got 4 guidelines.
Yeah, let's hear them.
First one, cannot include going to jail if we get caught doing it. Second, can't go to the hospital. Third, we don't want to be in the unemployment line before we show up for next week's episode. And the fourth is, remember the punishment, we have to be able to do it on the show. Those are the 4 guidelines, but comment below, what should the punishment be? And after seeing your picks, dude, you've got a good chance of being the loser this week.
These are my craziest picks of the year. So.
Well, what do you got?
First place, I'm picking a first-time winner of the season, Jason Anderson. I just think he might get it together this week, so I'm liking him in first place. Ryan Dungey, he's finished behind Tomac enough. I'm picking him ahead of Tomac this week. It's his race. Indy is where he shines. Tomac in third, Seeley in fourth, and kind of a spoiler pick, Blake Baggett in fifth. 9th place, Josh Grant.
Interesting. Okay. Tomac, I got to get back on the train, dude.
A little safer
I derailed for a minute. I have Anderson in second. I still think he improves. I don't think he wins, though. Dungey in third, Baggett in fourth, and Mr. Bam Bam Marsha. I got Justin Barcia in 5th place.
Oh, it's going to be interesting then.
It is going to be an interesting week. And my wild card, I got Justin Brayton.
I like it.
Okay. So you guys have seen it.
I want to hear the over-unders. Who do you think is going to win beforehand? I mean, let's hear what you guys think.
I got this in the bag. I got this. I just have a feeling this week.
I'm scared of what these people are going to come up with. So
now, if you guys want to see the results as soon as they're over, make sure to join the group that we're playing in. Go to Team RMATVMC on our RMFantasySX website. That way you can play with us and you can see exactly who won as soon as the race is over, and you will know who's going to be getting that punishment coming next week.
Should we be able to change our picks beforehand?
No, we've already talked about this, dude. Stop. Quit bringing that up. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So next up, to finish it off, we're going to talk about our prize recap. Going into this week, we got some killer prizes.
The stakes are high.
They are. First prize, Recluse Core Manual Torque Drive Clutch.
Highest valued single weekly prize we've ever had. So.
$8.99 MSRP. After that, we got Bell Moto 9 Carbon Flex plus the MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore game. 2 sets of Pirelli MX 32 tires.
Yep.
Let's see, Stellar's hooking it up.
TCX boots, a Cherubies plastic, Pro Honda prize pack, ODI.
I had their bars and grips. Love them.
Good stuff. RevArc Smart Steps, pretty cool. A lot of people don't know about them. Check them out. And Scott Prospect goggles. So.
Love it.
Prizes everybody should want. Get them in.
All right, dude. Big things are coming this week. I can feel it.
I'm getting anxiety about it.
I just hope you guys have some really good suggestions because I cannot wait for Christian to have to man up and do it next week.
Oh, gosh. I'm worried.
So make sure, guys, comment below. We want to know what you guys' picks are going to be for this week. How are you making your picks? Who's going to take it in the end, Tomac or Dungey? And remember, join us. Play with our group, Team RMATVMC, and we look forward to playing with you. I'm Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next week.